Hi, beautiful people. Last week I told you that conservative millennial Allie B. Stuckey made a podcast about me titled
God is not gray, you are confused.
Though I found her approach condescending, I believed it would benefit her audience and mine if we had a conversation. I know at least 9 people who slid into her DMs, including myself, and many of you commented and begged her to accept my invitation to talk. I encourage you to keep hitting her up this week with love and grace at Allie B. Stuckey. Because if you're bold enough to talk about someone, I believe you should be bold enough to talk to them. So for this and next week's episode, we're gonna have an honest talk about abortion. For this video, we're gonna be talking about misinformation surrounding late-term abortion only. I truly believe it is education and not fear that will prevent abortions in this country. So with Brett Kavanaugh's nomination threatening Roe v. Wade, new laws being presented, and our president claiming that Democrats want to rip babies from the womb, I wanted to dispel the rumors and tell you guys the truth. Please note, you can yell in the comment section all you want, but I will not be offering my moral stance on abortion for either of these episodes. The reason being, I've noticed that moral arguments on abortion prove circular. They don't make progress, they just flip-flop policies every time we get new leadership. I want permanent, effective change. America is chock full of different upbringings, religions, lack of religion, you name it, the United States has it. Therefore, trying to convince people to not have abortions based on morality alone has proven ineffective. Some women deeply regret an abortion for the rest of their lives. Other women see it as a necessity, they don't see it as a moral issue, and they just let it go. What both women have in common is that neither of them wanted or set out to have an abortion. An abortion is never the intended outcome of a sexual experience. Pro-lifers are accused of hating women or of being anti-feminist. Pro-choicers are called out as selfish baby killers. If you haven't noticed, these oversimplified stereotypes do nothing but divide us. So for part 1, I'm going to clear up the confusion, fear, and outright lies surrounding late-term abortion. So first things first, President Trump either genuinely doesn't understand abortion, the law, and how the procedure works.
Late-term abortion, allowing children to be ripped from their mother's womb,
or he's blatantly playing into fear to get us all riled up.
right up until the moment of birth.
The third option would be he's telling the truth, and that is just not what's happening.
And then execute the baby. Execute the baby.
God warns us against fear over 80 times in the Bible. One of the reasons, I believe, is because we can be manipulated by fear. You can decide for yourself if President Trump is using manipulation or if he is genuinely ignorant. But either way, do not be complacent and allow yourself to be lied to by a leader.
Wrap the baby and make the baby comfortable, and then execute the baby.
In this clip, Trump is referring to a statement made by Virginia Governor Ralph Northam.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
Now, at the end of this video, I will clear up what Northam meant by this statement, but let's stay on the bill for a second. Governor Northam was responding to a comment made by Delegate Kathy Tran, sponsor of the Virginia House Bill 2491, which has now been tabled over this controversy. Here's what she said in the hearing.
So how late in the third trimester would you be able to do that?
You know, it's very unfortunate that our physicians, witnesses, were not able to attend today to speak specifically.
No, I'm talking
that.
about your bill. How late in the third trimester could a physician perform an abortion if he indicated it would impair the mental health of the woman? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would
I understand
make at
that. I'm
that
asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
To make things worse, between New York's Reproductive Health Act, false claims by our president, and muddied comments from Tran and Governor Northam, extreme outrage and fear began to flourish in our nation. Ben Shapiro chimed in to vilify feminists, news outlets ran misleading headlines, and the GOP took to using the term infanticide. Infanticide is a terrifying and barbaric idea, but in this case, it's misuse of language. It is not based in truth. And if you don't believe me, do the research on your own. The Virginia House Bill 2491 was meant to roll back a number of requirements, including a 24-hour waiting period and a mandate that second trimester abortions take place in a hospital. As for third trimester pregnancy, the bill proposed changing the current Virginia law to require that one doctor, instead of 3, certify that continuing a pregnancy would likely cause the patient's death or impair her mental or physical health. This terminology does broaden the reasoning behind a late-term abortion. However, the belief that we'd be allowed to kill perfectly healthy babies in the third trimester or outside of the womb is a blatant lie. Infanticide is illegal in Virginia. This bill would not have made it legal. Second, third trimester abortions are extremely rare. Listen to me, guys. Third trimester abortions are extremely rare. In Virginia, records show that only 2 have been performed in the last 19 years. Nationwide, 9% of abortions are performed in the second trimester and 1% are performed in the third.
I am asking Congress to pass legislation to prohibit the late-term abortion of children who can feel pain in the mother's womb.
When Trump claims that he'll outlaw late-term abortion, that does not imply that he's going to save babies' lives. That actually implies that he would be willing to risk mothers' and babies' lives. Because again, late-term abortions don't happen just because a girl feels like it. After the 20-week mark, the baby and/or mother's life or health has to be in danger. The Virginia bill's language was extended to include mental health, and that is where I think things get a little bit sticky. Morally, I do believe we should be vigilant to make sure laws around late-term abortion do not become too lax. But again, this is a concern, not something that is currently happening. In reality, late-term abortion is the tragic loss of someone's child. I do not personally know anyone that suffered a third trimester abortion, but I've read blogs and articles and heard their stories. These are not people that made a haphazard decision. Their options are: maybe I die, maybe my child dies, maybe we both die, what am I gonna do? That is not what I would call a choice. That is the lesser of two evils. What is it gonna be? And it is not up to us, people that have not been in that circumstance, to vilify those people, to act like that is a choice that they were making out of convenience or because they wanted to. That is a complete misrepresentation of late-term abortions, and it needs to stop. The final thing I'd like to explain is the confusion behind Northam's statement.
The infant would be delivered, the infant would be kept comfortable, and then a discussion would ensue.
I agree. This sounds awful. It sounds like a baby is being born and the parents and doctors are deciding whether or not to kill it. But this is not true. Northam was referring to comfort care, which is offered when a baby is born alive but is unlikely to survive. Republican Senator Ben Sass's Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act would remove this option for families. In this case, a woman or family is losing a child late in the pregnancy. If they opt for late-term abortion to save the mother's life, or because the fetus isn't viable, and the baby survives that abortion, which is very unlikely, Ben Sass's bill would criminalize doctors for not taking extreme measures to resuscitate that child. It takes away the option for comfort care. Comfort care is when the baby is swaddled and cuddled by the mother until that child's death. And this is where opinion enters. On one hand, you could say yes, every effort needs to be made to resuscitate that child. On the other hand, you might say, if that baby's death is inevitable, why not dignify the mother those last moments with that child? As someone that has never been in that situation, and I pray that I never am, I pray you guys never are, I do not feel comfortable saying which is the right choice. The comfort and peace of letting go, of having that baby on your chest, might be what she needs to have peace in that moment. And I would hate for any legislation to rob her of that opportunity. And again, this is where argument and opinion can come in. If you truly believe it's the resuscitation of that child, that's your prerogative, and that's what you'll fight for. So for this week, I just wanted to let you know the reality of late-term abortion so you don't believe the lies. And for next week, I want to talk about ways that I think we can actually prevent abortions, because that's where my heart is at, and I'm sure you guys share the same thing. I truly believe the pro-choice and pro-life movements have a commonality, and that is that none of us want to see abortions occur. We have different ideas on how we can prevent it, and I bet you anything there are really good ideas on both sides. Please speak kindly in the comments. I know it's a huge thing to ask on such a heated topic, but if you can actually try to listen to one another, to actually offer speaking points, ask questions in earnest, I truly believe that would be amazing. And that would be our first step into actually causing change to happen in this country. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, donate to my Patreon or Venmo if you can. I love you guys. God bless.